One of the amazing things about the internet is that you can have an incredible product, an incredible website one day, and then a year later, it's completely gone. And that's kind of the nature of the internet, that websites just disappear. And all of a sudden, you get a 404 when you try to go to some website that you wanted to go to. A lot of times, this happens with blog posts or videos that you thought were there, and now they're gone. Well, there are some websites that stand the test of time. And here's a list of 15 of the oldest websites on the internet. A lot of them are things that you've never heard of before and things that aren't really that cool. One of them is really awesome. And that one is Spacejam.com. So let's go to Spacejam.com. And when you see it, you think like, dang, this is from 1996. This website is horrible. Well, yeah, it's horrible. But at the same time, it's also awesome. And let's take a look at a couple reasons why it is awesome. So this website is from 1996. So you can see they also included really awesome comments in their HTML. But off the top of just looking at the inspector and looking in browser dev tools, you can see how web development was different in 1996 from how it is today. So let's open it up on another website, YouTube, and we'll do the same thing. Open up DevTools, and it probably took longer just to load DevTools because of all the code that's in this site. But you can see how just looking at the HTML by itself, it's different completely. So we have the enclosing HTML tag, the doc type is set, the head, this intention container. I don't even know what that is. Maybe that's like a custom HTML tag. And then we have the body, and at the top of the body are just all of these script tags. And I'm not saying this is bad necessarily, but this is the nature of modern day web development and modern day website building. There are tons and tons of script tags. There's probably like one for analytics. There's probably one for the video widget and one for who knows what else. So you can, if you wanted to, yeah, this is just like some tick thing. Like it's not even doing that much. And then you can open this one and who knows how this is even different. It's probably very similar. It's just kind of littered with all these script tags. And really, when it comes down to it, the entire website is just run on JavaScript. And the JavaScript is being used to build HTML. But when we compare that to Spacejam.com, you see we have the enclosing HTML. We have a head, a body, a center. Within the center, there are other HTML tags. I haven't seen a script tag yet. And then here are three script tags. I'm not quite sure what this code theatrical is. We can probably inspect and look at what that is. There's a little bit of these comments are funny. There's a little bit of JavaScript in here, and then like barely any JavaScript in here. So the JavaScript in here is very limited. If we look in here, we can try and find what these things are. This is that code theatrical thing that we saw. And I don't know what this is, but there are 381 total lines of code in this. We can look into this JS one, and looks like it's something with tracking the date. But there's very limited JavaScript compared to YouTube, where like there's tons and tons of files in here. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So that's the first thing you'll notice is just there's so much more today. There's so much more scripting, so many more files that you download, and it shows in the way that the website renders. So like if we refresh this page, it's like almost instant. If we refresh YouTube, like it shows these loaders and then this lazy loading all these images, and it's doing a lot of stuff that websites used to not do. And there are pros and cons to those, but as a user, sometimes it's nice to just get the stuff you need really quickly. Obviously, Spacejam.com doesn't have like these intense application kind of features like loading a video and showing recommendations, stuff like that. But for Spacejam.com users, people that just want to see like the souvenirs, it's pretty quick and it's pretty nice. So now let's take a look at the HTML, see what the structure is here. So if we inspect this, interesting how they're using these HTML elements also. Actually, to go back to the homepage, you can see how some of these, some of the usages of their elements aren't quite the same as we would do today. So for instance, one thing is they're using a table to basically style this kind of ring around the Space Jam logo. And that's not semantic HTML. It's not really how you're supposed to do it. But yeah, back in 1996 and probably even early 2000s, maybe late 2000s, or like early teens. I'm not sure when it went out of style and when it went out of recommendation, but yeah, table's not really a way that you should be styling things. But if you look at this, it's like they have the first row, and then like each of these items is a table element within that row, and then they have their next row, which probably has just 2 items, I would guess. If you check this one out, 1, 2, 3, yeah, it makes sense. Space Jam is the middle. So yeah, they're using call span for that, and you can see like the different approaches and the different practices that they were using back in the day. So that's the HTML. There's not really semantic HTML. Interesting, ads do not touch. It's funny that they actually add comments to HTML. Like a lot of times, if you're inspecting and looking at HTML, you just don't even see comments in there because I would say most of the programming these days actually happens in JavaScript, so you'll see comments in there. But also people are like minifying their code and stripping out the comments from their code to package it for production. And 25 years ago, they didn't have anything. They didn't have any bundlers. They didn't have Webpack. They didn't have Browserify or whatever else they have these days. So apparently they did make an update to this website, at least at the very earliest in 2008. So there's that. So we talked about the JavaScript, the HTML, and then of course, let's talk about the CSS. So I've actually never looked at the CSS, and there's a single CSS property, a single CSS selector. And I don't know if this is, so let's see, it says 4 rules. This is for the inline one. Let's see. This one has, this is the one with 4 rules. This is the inline. Let's see if we can find any style tags in here. Just like, it's almost hard to believe that there would only be 4 CSS selectors in the entire page. So these header links have a margin of 5 pixels. Let's see if we can find any other style tags in here. I guess the other style is inlined somewhere. Or probably not inlined, but I can't quite find it. So we can head over to Style Editor, WP Policy Updated Notice Style. So yeah, I don't quite know where I would find this on here, but I mean, it's just like kind of laughable that there are 5 CSS selectors on this entire site. And footer links, yeah, so this is the one that actually has stuff. So we had this, it's going to take away the margin. But then you go to YouTube and you look at the styles here, and I mean, there's 2,000 rules in a single file. And it's using Sass, which is obviously a language that compiles to CSS, so it's not even CSS. And it's just like showing the different approach that you use nowadays when you're styling your web page. You're using more than 5 selectors. You're using like different languages even to style your page. So that is Spacejam.com, one of the oldest websites on the entire internet. A lot of websites that are this old have just been taken down, not maintained anymore. It's awesome that Warner Brothers has kept this up and has kept it basically in its original form, with few exceptions. And it's really interesting to see how web development and best practices have changed from 1996 to today. So I hope this video is interesting. Go ahead and take a look at some of the other oldest websites on the internet. I'll link to this page in the description, and we'll see you in the next video.